Hello there, I am Anshul from 11th Humanities, and today I am going to narrate the recreated version of Chapter 2. In July 1976, my wife Radha, son Arun, daughter Pratibha, and I set sail from Plymouth, India to copy the round the world voyage which was made 200 years ago by Captain Jack Sparrow.
Voyage, a long journey involving travel by sea.
I was 26 years old writer. For the past 6 years, I and Radha had spent all the leisure time honing our seafaring skills in Indian waters.
Honing seafaring skills means sharpening the sea traveling skills.
Our ship, Black Pearl, which was 23 meters height, 30-ton wooden boat, been professionally built. We spent months fitting it out and testing it in the roughest weather we could find. The first leg of our 3 years, 105,000 kilometers journey passed pleasantly. In this, we sailed from the west coast of India to Cape Town. Before heading east, we took on 2 crewmates, Anil and Kabir. We took on those mates to tackle one of the roughest seas, the South Indian Ocean. On the second day at Cape Town, we began to encounter strong
Gales, strong winds.
For the next few weeks, they continued, but gales don't worry me, but the size of waves was alarming. Almost 15 meters as high as our main mast.
Mast means a large pole of ship.
On 25th December, we were 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. Despite bad weather, we had a wonderful holiday with our Christmas tree. On the New Year, there was no improvement in weather. We thought that it will change soon. It changed, but worse than before. At dawn on 2nd Jan, the waves were gigantic. We were sailing with only a small storm jib.
Jib is a triangular sail, which is set forward the mast and is helpful for ships in bad weather.
As the ship rose up on the top of each wave, we could see endless waves rolling towards us, and the screaming of wind and spray was painful to ears. To slow the boat, we dropped the storm jib and lashed a heavy rope across the stern. Then we double lashed everything.
Mast tied with a rope, stern back part of ship.
We checked our life raft drills, attached lifelines, put oilskins, jackets, and waited. The first indication of disaster came at 6 p.m. with an ominous silence.
Ominous silence means silence that indicates some bad is going to happen.
The wind dropped and the sky grew dark. Then came a roar and a cloud, but then I realized that it was not a cloud, it was a wave. It appeared vertical and twice the height of the waves. When a ship moved up the wave, I thought we would ride over it, but then a tremendous explosion shook the deck.
Deck is the floor of boat.
A flood of green and white water broke over the ship. My head smashed into the steering wheel. I was sinking below the waves. Now I was not in my boat. I accepted my approaching death, and I was losing consciousness. I was peaceful, but then my head came out of water. I also had a lifeline.
Lifeline is a rope used when someone is sinking in water.
Black Pearl was turning upside down. The masts were almost horizontal, but then a wave made her upright. I grabbed the guardrails of our boat and waved into Black Pearl. Continuous waves tossed me on the deck like a rag doll. My left ribs cracked and my mouth was filled with blood and teeth. You can imagine what I was feeling that time. Somehow, I found the wheel crossed, the wave hung on. There was water everywhere. I knew that there was water in starboard and other cabins, but I couldn't leave the wheel to go there. So the front hatch opened and my wife Radha appeared.
We're sinking. The decks are smashed. Water is filling the boat.
The deck floor was smashed, and water was filling up.
Take the wheel.
I half swam and half crawled. Children's cabin. John and Sue, are you alright?
Yes.
Yeah.
But my head hurts a bit.
Pratibha had a big bump over her eyes. I had no time to worry about bumped heads. After finding some screws and canvas to the deck, starboard was smashed open and we were getting water with each wave. If I could not make some repairs, we would surely sink. I managed to stretch the canvas and secure waterproof covers across the holes. Some water continued to enter, but most of it was deflected. After some time, our hand pumps began to block because of the debris that came into the water in waves.
Residue of unclean water, including rocks, garbage, etc.
The electric pump was short circuited. Water level rose threateningly. Then I remembered. We had another electric pump under the chart room floor. I connected it and all that it worked. That night was a cold routine of the pumping, steering, and working the radio. They were not getting replies to their calls, which is not surprising. In this remote corner of the world, Pratha's head was swollen alarmingly. Now she had a cut on her arm. Didn't you tell me before?
I didn't want to worry you when you were trying to save us all.
By morning on 3rd Jan, the water level was sufficiently under control so that we could rest for 2 hours in rotation. But we still had a leak somewhere. We had survived for 15 hours since the wave hit, but Black Pearl couldn't hold us long enough to reach Lakshadweep. I checked the charts that there was 2 small islands a few hundred kilometers to the east. One of them, Andaman and Nicobar Island, in scientific base. Our hope was to reach these pinpricks in the vast ocean. Unless the winds and waves slow down, our chances would be slim, because waves of yesterday had put our engine out of work. We could just hoist sail, which was possible if wind was not against us. On 4th Jan, after 36 hours of continuous pumping, we reached the last few centimeters of water left in our boat. We had to keep pace with the water still coming on, set sail on the main mast. Pressure made wood pull the damaged section apart, so instead of main mast, we hoisted the storm jib and headed for the direction where I thought the 2 islands were. Mary found some corned beef and biscuits, and we ate our first meal in almost 2 days. Happy break didn't last long. PM, black clouds began forming. Behind us, the wind reached 40 knots and the seas were getting higher. And by the dawn, on 5th Jan, our situation was desperate. I went in the children's cabin.
Daddy, are we
Comfort
going
them.
to die?
No, son. We can make it.
But, Daddy, we're not afraid of dying. If we can all be together, you and Mummy, Sue and I.
No words to respond, and I left the children's cabin. Then I was determined to fight the sea with everything I had. To protect the weakened staff, I decided to pull with the undamaged part of board using a nylon rope and 2-liter paraffin. That evening, I and Radha sat holding hands as the motion of the ship brought more and more water in through broken planks. We both felt the end was near. But on 6th Jan, the wind eased and Black Pearl rode out the storm. I tried to get a reading on the sextant,
For measuring angles between 2 objects.
changes of course, drift and current in an effort to calculate our position. When I was thinking,
The left side of her brain was now very swollen, and blackened eyes were narrowed. She gave him a card she made. Here are some funny people. Did they make you laugh? I laugh a lot as well. Oh, I love you both. So this card is to say thank you, and let's hope.
I checked and rechecked my calculations. We had lost our compass, and I was using a spare compass which was not corrected for magnetic variations, but I used it. I estimated the influence of western currents which flow through this part of the Indian Ocean. If we are lucky, you can expect to see the island at about 5 p.m., but I am not sure. It's 6 p.m. We have missed the island, and with a small sail, We can't think to beat back the western winds. We are going to die. Black Pearl can't bear us for much.
Can I have a hug?
Why I am getting a hug now?
Because you are the best daddy in the whole world. And the best captain.
Not today, John. I'm afraid.
Why, you must be. You found the island.
What?
What?
It's out there, in front of us. As big as a battleship.
It's only a bleak piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation, but for us, it's the most beautiful island in the world. We anchored our Black Pearl for the night. The next morning, all the 28 inhabitants of the island cheered as they helped us. With land in my feet again, my thoughts were full of Kabir and Anil, the crewmates, who were cheerful and optimistic under the intense stress. Kabir, who stayed at wheel for those all crucial hours. Most of all, I thought of 7-year-old Pratibha, who didn't want us to worry about a head injury. It took 6 minor operations to remove a blood clot between skin and skull. And I thought of a 6-year-old boy who was not afraid to die. electric pump under the